Hi, Minder.
Hi,
We're here
we're here again.
again for another episode of the Neurodivergent Convergence podcast. I'm Nikki. That's
I'm
Amanda.
Amanda. That's
Say hi,
Nikki.
Amanda.
Hi,
Amanda. You
Amanda.
forgot
Yeah.
hi, Amanda.
I was like, do I do the joke again? Do I do it for
Do I
like
do
the
it again?
32nd time in a row?
That's funny. So yeah, we're neurodivergent best friends who have a podcast. And we come on here every week and we talk about neurodivergent shit and our experience with neurodivergent shit as two neurodivergent women because we are living in a neurotypical world and we are not neurotypical girls. Yeah,
hmm
I nailed it. I nailed it again. I nailed the intro again. I'm so proud of myself. We did so good this time. I love it. We're doing great. Okay, you and I just chatted not that long ago, so we don't really have a lot of catching up to do. However, I will give disclaimer that this is a six-ode for me because I have the bubble of the guts
hmm
and the runny of the nose and the hurting of the throat. And I don't know how long my stomach will allow me to record. So we are going to do this in the quickest fashion that we possibly can, being who we are.
Because we also don't want to edit, so we're just gonna.
Yeah, we don't want to edit. So if you see me pause, like if you're watching, you see me hit this and my light goes off, it's probably because I had to burp or we're all human. I probably had to fart and didn't want anyone to hear it. So that's what's happening here because I'm a human and I get sick and that happens because we all poop.
Everybody poops.
Everybody poops. Anyway, we don't have a lot of catching up to do because her and I just chatted, in like the real world, her and I just chatted a little while
Like
ago,
like 3 days ago.
like 3 days ago.
hmm
So, not much has changed except for the fact
No.
that now I am actually sick.
hmm
Before, last time we recorded last week, what you guys heard, I thought I had a dog hair stuck in my throat. I think it was just the start of the sore throat, and it felt like a
hmm
dog hair stuck in my throat. But
hmm
in fact, I am the sick. So let's just get her done. All right, Aminder, let's get her done. Um, we're gonna start with fun and fuckery like we always do. Amanda is reading our AI story this week, and boy, is it good! It's real good. It's a good one. It's a good one. I told you it was gonna be a good one. It is. So, Minder, let's indulge the folks with
Well,
our
first,
next.
do you want to tell them what my people are? My anonymous
Yeah,
animals.
because we forgot anonymity last week. I think
hmm
it's okay. Oh yeah. So for those of you who don't know, if this is first time listening, Google doesn't think Amanda is real.
hmm
Go listen to episode 1 if you want to figure out what exactly this means. But every week when we remember, we discuss who Amanda would like to be anonymously
hmm
because Google gives her characters when she logs into our documents here.
Yeah,
We have
even though
some
I'm logged into
fucking.
Google, and I see Nikki, she can't see me. I'm an
I
anonymous
can't see
animal or
her.
anonymous
She's just
creature of some
anonymous
kind.
insert
Whatever.
thing here. It's been giving us
hmm
some strange ones as of late, and
Yeah.
today is no fucking exception. We have for Amanda's anonymity options, first and foremost, yet another extinct animal, a quagga, which I believe you told me was a what now? A ancient
A
zebra or some
extinct
shit?
an extinct subspecies of a zebra that
Okay.
lived in South Africa.
Okay. So we have an extinct zebra called a quagga or a ifrit.
Ifrit.
Ifrit, which is a goddamn demon
Yep.
from the
Basically
Quran.
sounds like it's like a jinn type of thing. I looked it up. Basically it says it's a powerful type of demon in Islamic culture. And they're
Yeah.
associated with like spirits of the dead. Um
So it gave us a demon.
Yep.
Great.
So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the dead horse. So instead of the
Yeah, I
demise
like that
being
better.
So,
Yeah, we don't like the demon.
mhm.
I don't do Losa spookies here like that. Not those kind of spookies. No, no.
Okay.
Don't like them. All right. Anyway, we're going to read an AI story for y'all. If you need your subtitles, go on in the show notes or the pinned comment on YouTube. Grab your subtitles. If you're driving, please don't do that. Keep your eyes on the road. I just realized that a lot of people listening to podcasts are doing so probably in their car. Don't read subtitles and drive. Okay, please. Not safe. Let's get her done, Amanda. Let's read. Last week, real quick recap. We met a new character, Finnegan the Fainting Goat, and all of them are going to embark on this journey now together. Jeremy the Unicorn, Finnegan the Fainting Goat, and his cat Binky are now a foursome adventuring the world, and this is the start of their adventure. Amanda, take it away, ma'am.
Okay. So the sentence given was Jeremy the second cat, the unicorn, Finnegan the fainting goat, and Binky the cat set out for the first leg of their journey at dawn. We ride at dawn. Just kidding.
We ride at dawn.
Jeremy turned to the unicorn and said, "What's your name?" "What?" the unicorn replied. "Your name," Jeremy said. "You do have one, don't you? If we're going to be traveling together, should we at least call you by your name?" Okay, now here's where the story starts. The unicorn considered it. "My name is Sympathy," she said. "Do you want to know about Sympathy?" "Sure," Jeremy said. "I don't know you, but I like you," Sympathy said. "I like you too," Jeremy replied. "Let's go now," Sympathy said. "Are you ready?" "As I'll ever be," Jeremy replied. Binky and Finnegan both stepped forward. "Are we ready?" they asked. "No," Sympathy replied. "Okay." What kind of fuckery is this?
No.
No. Okay. No, Sympathy replied. "Okay," Jeremy said. "Let's go." Jeremy doesn't give a fuck.
Nope.
If you're ready or not. Jeremy, Finnegan, Binky, and Sympathy started off down the river. All of a sudden, Sympathy started to feel fear. The river was shallow, and the trees that surrounded it did not look very sturdy. "I'm scared," she said. "Me too," Binky replied. "I want to go back," Sympathy said. "Me too," Binky said. "Let's go," Finnegan said. "Me too," Sympathy said. Okay. Sympathy held on to Jeremy as they traveled down the river. After a while, Sympathy stopped holding on. Jeremy saw the change in Sympathy's behavior. He asked, "What's going on? Have you seen any trouble ahead?" "No," Sympathy replied, "but I do have to use the bathroom."
Okay, I'm going to pause you right here. I'm going to
you.
pause you right here because it's about to get, we're about to go sideways like you've never seen. And I'm going to be laughing a lot. So I'm just preparing you to also laugh. But I am going to mention one thing. I have my shit turned up real high and you do sound a little far away from your mic. Can you get it a little closer to you? It's not super bad, but just like a little closer would be great. As I want the people to hear this clearly because this is about to go sideways as hell.
Is that better?
Oh, much. Yes. Good job. Go for it.
Okay. No, Sympathy replied, "but I do have to use the bathroom." "I'll wait for you here," Jeremy said. Like, aren't they in a river? Couldn't she just go on the river like everybody does?
But she's holding on to him, so at least she said, "Hey, I have to go to the bathroom," and didn't just piss while she's holding on to him.
"It's okay," Sympathy said. "You don't have to. I'll be back soon." Sympathy ran up the bank and walked toward a tree. She took a sharp left and walked behind the tree.
Can't. Sorry. I can't. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna compose myself.
Okay, I'm a child because I read the sentence. I have to. Oh, okay. Oh my god, I'm a child.
I can't even read it. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna have to mute myself so you can read it. I'm gonna have to mute myself.
No, it's funny when you can hear yourself laugh. Okay. She let out a loud fart, which caused Finnegan to leap up, scream, and then fall over. Sympathy. Oh.
It gets so much worse. Okay.
I'm crying.
He fainted.
Sympathy jumped back, and the fart disappeared. Was that you? Jeremy asked. Uh-huh. Sympathy replied. Now I need to go. Did she shart herself? Like, what the hell?
It gets better. Okay.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Fine. Okay. Uh-huh, Sympathy replied. Now I need to go again. Go back, Jeremy said. Please, I've got my eye on you. I'll be back, Sympathy said. Sympathy walked up to a second tree and leaned against it. A loud fart escaped from her.
I can't even read it. Oh, fuck. Okay. Do you need me to read from here on? Because I don't think you're going to be able to do it.
I'll get it. I'll do it.
And I've already read it once.
Okay. A loud fart escaped from her mouth, and Jeremy jumped up, squealing. Was that you? He asked again. You bet, Sympathy said. Yeah, you own it, Queen.
She's proud of her shit, okay? And this is not. I didn't even plan this. That I'm also bubble gutty right now.
Oh my god, I'm crying. Okay, now I need to go again. Sympathy ran up to a third tree, again leaned against it, and farted. The second fart was louder than the first. This time, Finnegan fell off right down. We just got Finnegan. He's already gone.
Just wait.
Okay. Sympathy ran to the bank and quickly took a potty break. But when she returned, all the others were dead. She saw her backpack on the ground and rummaged through it. She took out a magic potion that her Uncle Chrome had given her in case of a situation just like this. She gave everyone a dose of the potion as they slowly regained consciousness. Jeremy had difficulty breathing and was struggling to stay conscious. Binky and Finnegan felt much better, but Binky kept gagging and spitting out green phlegm that always appeared when he tried to talk. Sympathy helped Binky take a nap, while Finnegan used his natural magic to restore the balance of nature in the area.
After she done fucked her up with her asshole. Now we're gonna take another left turn.
Okay.
Another left turn.
Binky and Finnegan woke up and walked back toward the river, where Sympathy stood with her backpack and sword. They stood there in silence. Thank you for rescuing us, Binky said. Well, my name's Binky, Binky replied. Did the fart give him amnesia? I guess. Okay. Sympathy.
He died, said, remember? She had to revive him.
That's true. Sympathy, she said. All right then, Sympathy, Binky said. I think you're the least weirdest person I've ever met, and I've met quite a few. That's good to hear, Sympathy said. I'm glad we can meet under better circumstances. By the way, Binky said, what are you doing with that sword? It's mine, Binky replied. Why do you have a sword? Binky asked. Well, I found it, Sympathy replied. It was in a cave that was overrun with ghouls and ogres. You found it, Finnegan said. Yeah, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I found it, and I wanted to protect myself. There's no need for that, Jeremy said. The only thing you need to worry about is living. To be continued.
To be continued.
Oh, boy. That was a lot. I was crying. Actual tears.
Oh, God. Oh, okay. I can't.
That was one of the best ones.
I will pull back the curtain a little bit. There was a lot of deleting and restarting going on, so I've spent a lot of our words, unfortunately. But the only parts that were doctored were when we started after the backpack part. So it says she saw her backpack on the ground, rummaged through it. And then I wrote in, because it kept adding weird shit. It got dark. Like, she murdered a bunch of people at one point, and I was like, no,
she murdered all of them already, so
yeah, it was bad, and it was real bad. So I had to like give it some more direction at this point. So I wrote in the part where she took out the potion and gave everyone a dose as they slowly regained consciousness, and then it picked itself back up from there. It did the rest of it. So like that was the only little, I added like one or two little sentences in there to help it make more sense. The rest of it was all AI. So yeah, this one was great, and we got him to faint, so it worked. It's amazing. It's amazing. So apparently magic doesn't make him faint, but farts do.
Mm-hmm.
Farts from a unicorn make him fall over
Unicorn
and
farts.
die.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, and we now know the unicorn's name is Sympathy. So we've learned new things. And apparently, Sympathy has no sympathy for shitting her pants in front of folks and making them die. So
she wears pants?
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She's farting, and her farts is apparently toxic and kill folks. So
she can wear pants, a backpack, and hold a sword. This is a very talented unicorn.
And her farts kill people. So and her Uncle Crom knew that, so he gave her de-killing potions.
He knew this would happen. He knew this would happen.
He knew this would happen. He knew that her ass was toxic, so they needed them potions, you know, for that toxic ass of hers. Okay. Now it's time for a phoned-in Madlib, so we'll see if the Madlib makes any sense, because I phoned this motherfucker in. Because we were trying to hurry up and get this done so that I could maybe not shit all over myself in the process of recording this. So let's get her done, ma'am.
I mean, I always rub my nose, but I'm going to rub my nose more. My nose is also running because it went from 35 degrees one day, like the high of 35 degrees, to a high of 55 degrees overnight, and it's going so I'm just,
it definitely warmed back up a little bit here too, but not that much. So it's weird. We don't live far enough away from each other for it to be that drastic of a temperature difference, but it really is that drastic of a temperature difference between where I live and where she lives. So anyway, Madlib, what do you need from me, ma'am?
I need a noun.
I chose Ifrit.
Okay.
Because it was there in my brain.
Yeah. Plural noun.
I chose Quaggas, the extinct horse thing.
Dead horses.
The zebra.
Zebra.
As our friends in the UK call them.
Verb.
Attack.
Adverb.
Immensely.
Adjective.
Janky.
Janky. She a janky bitch.
Verb. Embark.
Adjective.
Gargantuan.
Number.
6.
6. Verb ending in ing.
Jumping.
Going back to the basics. Plural noun.
Fornicators.
Verb.
Escape.
It's weird. It's spelled just like the word escape.
Yeah, that's funny. It looks just like the word escape. You can read?
You can read? I can read. Oh, yeah, I can read. Verb ending in ing.
Bonus points if you can comment on this week's episode of like when I share the episode on Facebook. Bonus points if you can tell us what movie that little interaction was from. I just want to know how many people know their Disney movies. There's your quote. There's your hint. Okay. What did you say? Verb ending in ing?
Yep.
Farting, because I have to. Not that I have to fart. I have to use it because it was in the story so much.
Adjective.
Chaotic, which is this entire episode. It's fucking chaotic today. It's fine.
Plural noun.
Intestines.
Noun.
River.
Love is a river. Adjective.
Formative.
Formative. And a place.
Disney Studios. Now let's see
Okay.
how fucked this is gonna be.
So we're still in the Pokemon Madlib.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's called Battling in a Pokemon League Tournament. If you already registered for a region's Pokemon Ifrit and collected at least 8 Quaggas, it's time to attack a Pokemon League tournament. Never do this immensely, though. After the janky opening ceremony, the qualifying rounds begin. This is to embark out the trainers who are not yet ready to compete. Then, trainers must battle the gargantuan preliminary rounds until there are only 6 trainers left. After a short break, the real jumping begins. The final fornicators are full battles with 6 Pokemon on each side. Escape them carefully, because it may mean winning or farting the tournament. Depending on where you are, the terrain could be chaotic. You can encounter ice, rocks, and even intestines.
Blech.
But winning a river is only the beginning. After that comes the formative Elite Four, and eventually champion of the Disney Studios.
Yep, it was phoned in. That's fine. It's fine. They can't all be winners, folks. It's not a big deal.
We had a winner of an AI story, so
yeah, we had a winner of an AI story. We can't get to. I mean, 2 for 2 is asking a lot, especially on a 6-ode. Okay, it's asking a lot of the universe. We can't be that beggery choosier kind of thing. Beggars can't be choosers. Is that what they say?
Yep.
So, okay. Well, we are continuing as promised last week. Oh, there goes the voice. Did you hear it crack? I heard it. I heard it crack. We're continuing myths. We're moving on through the rest of the myths and probably some more of our thoughts as well. So let's get her going, because it sounds like I'm finna lose my voice here for too long. So where did we stop?
Well, I know where we stopped. The last one we talked about was autistic people like to be on their own. They're antisocial.
Okay, so we're on the autistic people cannot show empathy myth.
Yep.
And I'm going to let you read, because I can feel it coming and I need to blow my nose. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to mute me and you can read the first one. Okay?
Okay, sure. So it says myth. Autistic people cannot show empathy. Not true. Many autistic people feel extreme empathy for others, but may respond in a way that non-autistic people would not. For example, by sharing a similar experience of their own to indicate solidarity, by offering practical help, or by freezing and doing nothing because they're unsure how to respond in a way that's wanted or required in the situation. That's basically all of these are me, because the whole idea of we do this all the time. Like I actively think about it every time we do this to each other, and not in a bad way. I just mean like, oh, I'm feeling this sort of way. It's like, oh yeah, I'm also feeling this sort of way. Like you were saying, like, oh yeah, my throat's starting to feel hurt. I'm like, yeah, I'm also starting to feel something or whatever. I forgot what I said, but it's just that's how I do it like all the time. But we don't see it as like one-upping each other like some people see it as.
No.
It's not like it's like, well, I went to work. It's like I only slept 4 hours today. Well, I slept 2 hours, so that's not how we do it. And the other thing of like I feel empathy really hard, but it's hard for me to like voice it to people. So it seems like it's like the whole sympathy versus empathy thing. Basically, it's like I can give you a hug and like say like they're there all day, but to me it almost feels forced and like I'm acting, even though I don't feel that way. Like I feel like I feel like I look and I'm acting fake.
Yeah.
When it's like, no, I really feel for you. Like I really feel bad, but it's just like I said, it's just a very awkward situation. What about you? What's like your probably go-to?
Yeah, I have a real world example for this, actually a recent one, but I do feel extreme empathy as well, and it is difficult for me to show that extreme empathy that I feel, because sometimes I feel like if I'm feeling it in the level in which it's presenting in my body, that it's like I'm doing it too much out. I don't want to do it as much outwardly as I am doing it inwardly, if that makes any sense. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it would almost seem to that person like I'm like it's overkill, or like I am trying to steal the show in some way. And a lot of times that relating factor too, where I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I understand, because this happened to me, so I get it. It is a form of connection. It's a way that I try to connect with people, but it oftentimes is seen as like trying to steal the show, or one up the person, or one up the
And
situation.
and the other
Or
one I feel like you do a lot is the whole offering practical help, like
yes,
offering solutions. So I think we
yeah,
both do it, but I think especially like you do it like basically someone has an issue. It's like you. I think one of your go-tos is like, well, have you tried doing this? Like, have
right.
you?
And
So
not because like I had to learn that, especially in my relationship with my husband. It's like sometimes he's not telling me things because he's looking for me to fix that thing. It's almost like like they say men try to fix everything in the relationship and women just
mhm.
want to express themselves. It's like our roles are almost reversed in that regard, because he is much more emotionally expressive than I am, and is quite emotionally intelligent, as to where I am emotionally intelligent. It's just takes me longer to recognize those emotions and be able to verbalize those emotions, is where that's quite easy for him. So sometimes he just wants to talk about it and get it off his chest, and I'm sitting here trying to fix it.
it.
So I've asked
Mhm.
him, like, to tell me when he doesn't need my help, he's just wanting to talk, so that
Mhm.
I can put that forward in my brain and not actively be listening to solve his problem, and just be listening to let him talk. So, but the whole like freezing thing, I did want to touch on that, because that affects me largely more than I realize, but not in like quantity of times that it's going to happen to me, but like when it matters most, which I think is almost worse. Recently, one of my very good friends, her mother passed away, and her father is also terminally ill, and her mother's death was sudden and unexpected. So, and it just happened, and I found out from a coworker who said that she saw it on Facebook, and I had no clue, because I'm not ever on my personal Facebook, and it had been several days since it happened. She was not expecting it. I didn't want to overwhelm this person by calling her. So I sent her a text, and I tried to be as concise as possible, but I feel like when it comes to death and dying, I absolutely suck at consoling people or showing my condolences to people. It feels very robotic to me.
Like the
And
whole I'm sorry for your loss. It's like when people post something on
yeah,
Facebook and like 57 of the comment, like 57 out of like 59 comments are like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," or
because I
I'm
don't know
sorry for
what
that
else
loss."
to
It's just since
say though, because like my
no,
default is to
I'm
be
just saying
like,
it's like saying it as well. It just seems like
yeah,
that's like the canned answer. It's like I don't want to give a
right. It
and
makes it
the
seem
whole
insincere, like I don't give a fuck. And it's like, no, I'm literally breaking inside for you right now. Like I can't sympathize because it's never happened to me, but I can empathize greatly with you. And I want to fall apart and cry for you right now, but I can't do that. And I don't want to call you being hysterical, because you should be hysterical in this moment. I can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just no fucking right way to handle that situation. So, for me anyway, so I just sent the text and I was like, I love you. I can't even imagine what you're going through right now. I am so, so sorry. I'm here if you need literally anything. And I love you. Right. And that's what I said to her. And I feel like that could also be misconstrued as not giving a fuck, because I sent her a text. But like, in my brain, I'm trying to think of the least invasive and least
And trying to
like
overwhelm her.
intrusive and least overwhelming thing possible, which is to like let you know that I love you and I'm thinking of you and I'm so beyond sorry that doesn't even fucking cut it right now for you. Like, but I don't want to call and overwhelm you. So this is the way that I'm trying to show you that I give a fuck about what you're going through right now and I'm very sorry. So like I don't I don't do well in those situations because I never know what that person really needs or is looking for. But I also don't want to be a burden to them in a situation where they're already fucking exhausted. And I'm sure everybody's asked them a million questions and family things and everything going on. Like, I didn't want to be one more person to call her and ask her a million questions about what happened and how she's feeling and what's going on. So I just did the least personable thing, which was send a text. I don't know if it was right or wrong, but I always double like think about those things. It's like on one hand, it was the least overwhelming thing I could do, and on the other hand, she could have seen it as this was the fucking worst thing I could have done. So it's I feel like I can't win in those situations. So I absolutely fucking like relate to this more than anything, I think.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like when my friend's daughter passed away.
Yeah.
It's like went to the funeral, bawled my eyes out, but it's like, since then it's like I don't want to ask about every single detail about every single thing that's going on. It's like I don't want to be a person like that's like looking for gossip, or like I don't want to, because it's like you have 100 million other people asking all these same questions,
Right.
and I don't want you to be expected to do that for one more person. So I'm trying
Right.
to like, so it's like just in any case, it's like I'm trying to let you be aware that I'm here for you, but also
Yeah.
not bombard you and pile on like other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And to kind of bring it back, because I wanted to mention this when we were talking about wanting to vent versus wanting solutions, it just reminded me of the the episode in Parks and Rec where Chris and Anne, like Anne was getting mad because Chris always wanted to give her a solution.
Yeah, we mentioned this
then,
before in another episode. Yeah.
and then like other people are like, you just gotta tell her, that sucks. And then when she's venting, if she's just venting, just gotta tell her that sucks. And he goes, and like I said, it's the whole are you looking for a solution or are you looking to vent? So sometimes you gotta be more open with people. Like if you're like, I love when people vent to me. It's like, yes, complain more. I love it.
Yes.
Bring it to me. Yes, I will. I will help you vent. But I'm also like a good problem solver. So, but I think I'm getting better. I'm getting better at like telling people, like, or not telling. I'm getting better at being able to tell when people are just wanting to bitch, basically, versus wanting a solution. So I think on that note, let's see. Sorry for like the hard turn, but
you're okay.
So the next one, myth: autism can be cured. False: autism is not an illness. Being autistic is part of who a person is, like their eye color, and not something that can be changed or grown out of. Each day, autistic people navigate the world they experience, its challenges and positives. They phrase stuff really weird on this website. Some develop strategies and skills to do this on their own, and some need support. Increased acceptance and understanding of autism are what's needed, not a cure. Which, yeah, it's like trying to quote unquote like cure depression. Like you can treat it, but you can't cure it,
Right.
So I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Let's see.
I actually have a lot to say about this, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, go ahead.
Only because I don't know. This apparently is quite controversial, and I guess I didn't realize how controversial this is, but my oldest child, when he was first diagnosed, ABA therapy was recommended to us. And I didn't know any different. It was told to me that this is something that will help him to cope with his sensory issues and learn strategies in which to, better work through his life as an autistic person and be able to, function a little bit better in the world around him. So of course we were like, yeah, I will, absolutely, right? Like he needs skills and we need help. He has a lot of sensory issues and we want to work on him. So of course we're going to do this. So he went to ABA therapy for 3 or 4 years. And I only recently figured out that this apparently is a big controversial thing because I guess ABA therapy, which is applied behavioral analysis, by the way, if you don't know what ABA stands for, it's applied behavioral analysis. Apparently, there is a lot of ABA therapy situations out there that are basically trying to turn autistic people into people that don't seem autistic anymore. And they're trying to get them to behave in a way that is not
like
autistic.
They be neurotypical. Yeah, basically.
Right, behave like a neurotypical person. And if I think back objectively now on the experience, I can see how people would come to that conclusion based on some of the things that were said to me during these therapies. But I do feel like overall our experience was positive. So
Sorry, is there a lot of noise behind you?
Yeah, hang on. Sorry, the youngest is in the shower and he apparently brought his tablet in there to listen to a show while he was in the shower. So anyway, parenting moments. Yay, here we are. Anyway, our experience overall was pretty positive, but I think if I spent time really thinking about some of the things and some of the things that come to me initially are like when we were kind of, they said that we're like moving out of the need for the therapy, right? Like he's doing better. He doesn't need to be here anymore. Okay. And I thought that was kind of weird because he's always going to be autistic. So if this therapy is beneficial for him now, why would it ever stop being beneficial for him? Right? Like, what did you do that he doesn't need it anymore? Right? Like, what does that mean? And the more I thought about it, I thought back to this one particular statement that was made at like our last meeting. And the person said to me, at this point in time, if we were to retest him for autism, he wouldn't even be considered autistic. And at the time, I was happy about that because it was presented to me as if like he's doing so well that we wouldn't even know at this point that he's autistic, which in my brain was like, oh my gosh, he's got all these coping skills now and he can better work through the world. And like, it didn't even cross my mind that like they were trying to make him behave a certain way, like applied behavioral analysis, like
basically giving him like acting classes. Like
yeah. And I was like, but as a parent in the moment, you're not like, it didn't register in my brain that like this is what was going on here. And so I have a lot of my own like unpacking to do of that. And like, maybe we can do a whole episode on it at one point, but like, I've also done the whole, like, I've bought into a lot of the whole like snake oil shit around autism and ADHD. And like when I was into essential oils for a long time, there was all of these blends that were like marketed to help with their sensory issues and help with behavioral issues and help with sleep and all these other things, which they do help. I mean, there are essential oils that do help with sleep and whatnot, and aromatherapy is a thing and it is helpful a lot in a lot of ways, but not in the fucking ways these people were telling me it was going to be fucking helpful. And like,
well, those are
oh,
those are probably the type of people that they probably call them indigo children and not
yeah.
So
So yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things I could say about it, and we could probably do a whole 2-hour fucking episode on all of the things that I have bought into over the years that have convinced me that if I just do this, or just give them this supplement, or just give them this pill, or this, not pill, but you know what I mean, like this supplement, or this oil, or this therapy, or this whatever, then he'll be fine, right? He'll be fine. And while therapies are important, like, I mean, there's still an occupational therapy that has been amazing for them, because they're not trying to make them neurotypical. They're showing them what to do when they have a meltdown. How can they help themselves calm down? How can they help themselves during the day get through a day so that maybe they could prevent a meltdown from happening? Like, how do they notice the signs and symptoms of them getting dysregulated so that then they can do what they need to do to calm down and prevent a fucking meltdown from happening if they can, right? Like, today, Nicholas had a panic attack at school, and the social worker helped him sort through it so that he could calm himself down. Like, that kind of stuff is important, right? Like, that's important, because the meltdowns and the panic attacks and the things are going to happen. They're always going to happen. But if he has tools on how to work through them because he learned those things in a therapy, that's wonderful, right? So, like, therapy in its own in any kind is not shitty. It's not wrong, and it's necessary, I feel like, especially for people on the spectrum. But that whole, like, we can fix you vibe, if you feel like you're getting a we can fix you vibe, or we can make it to where you don't even seem like you're autistic, like, maybe we don't entertain those things, because I got roped into it completely unintentionally, and out of a place of wanting my child to have the best chance at life. I was unknowingly, like, trying to change who he was as a person that's never gonna change. Instead of teaching him coping skills, I was inadvertently taking him somewhere twice a week that was trying to make him into something he'll never be.
Mm-hmm.
And spoiler alert, when he quit going to ABA, every issue he had before he went there came back within 3 months. So what does that tell you? Like, obviously what they were doing there wasn't helping, as to where he's been going once a week to OT for 2 years now, and we have seen progressive, consistent, like, progress in him in a way that is not changing who he is, but giving him coping mechanisms for when these things happen to him, and giving him tools on how to work through his life easier, which is what I thought I was doing to begin with ABA. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. You cannot cure this. It is not a goddamn disease. Stop trying to cure people with autism, and just maybe listen to somebody with autism. Maybe start there. Just listen to somebody with autism before you start trying to think that there's something fucking wrong with us that we need to cure. Mm-hmm. Anyway, off my soapbox I go. Moving on. You want me to read this one?
Okay. I can read it.
Okay.
Let's see. Myth. Autistic people always have other conditions. Not always, but more than half of autistic people have co-occurring conditions that can accompany autism. Common conditions generally fall into one of 4 categories: classic medical issues such as epilepsy or sleep disorders, developmental diagnosis such as language delay, mental health conditions such as anxiety or depression, genetic conditions including Fragile X syndrome. Asperger's is becoming more well known, but this syndrome sits within autism and is not a separate diagnosis. So, and they say the NHS, because this is the Scottish website, NHS Inform is more information on different autism profiles and co-occurring conditions. So the whole Venn diagram thing probably.
Yeah, maybe we can do an episode on autism profiles, because that's been interesting to me too, because there's like that PDA profile and like all these other kinds. So I'm interested to kind of do an episode maybe on autism profiles too.
Yeah, I'll save that. Well, it just kind of links to NHS.
Yeah, it links to NHS in general, so we'll have to go digging for it because I clicked on it too.
Yeah. So yeah, because I always joke like I have insomnia, like the whole like sleep disorder thing, but it's just because like I don't know, it's not like that I have like true diagnosed insomnia. It's just it's hard for me to sleep. I either sleep like 10 to 12 hours or like 2 to 4 hours. I don't have a lot of in between. That's why I look tired all the time, because normally during the week I sleep like 2 to 4 hours a night, but then on the weekend I sleep like 12 hours.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't have a good regular, like when I used to go to the gym, I was better obviously because I was, tired, whatever. Exercise, all that stuff. So it was more regulated then. But then COVID happened. So
right. I can't remember. Did you ever try melatonin or no?
I did buy the gummies. So it takes a long time for them to set in. Like if I take one, which I think that's what the dosage is on these. I take one, it takes about 2 hours for it to become effect, and that might just be I'm getting tired in general, because I would take it like at 10, like thinking it would be about half an hour.
Yeah.
No, but then so I
took it. What milligrams did you buy?
I don't know. I have to look at the bottle. So then I take it at 8, and then it's like okay, and then I would kind of start feeling tired, but it's like I don't want to take 2, and so and then like I got like weird dreams with them, which I have weird dreams in general, but I would get like weird dreams, and so I don't feel like they worked very well in my case.
So like the only reason I mention it is because my kids will not sleep without it. So they've been on it for years. So they have to take, I buy the extra strength ones.
Do you think they have to take it because they're now conditioned to take it, like that sort of thing, like people who take sleep medication all the time?
I mean, I don't know, maybe. But it's not really like their doctors always said, like it's not something they can really get. It's not like it's not like your brain's going to eventually stop making it the more you take it, if that makes any sense. Because, like, they can fall asleep when they're tired during the day. It's just their little brains. This was the point I was going to try to make with this. There was some study somewhere, I need to find it, where, like, ADHD and neurodivergent brains, like, our circadian rhythms are also different. So, like, our brains are more active generally like in the later hours as opposed to earlier hours. So like how you said that, like if you had a job where you could start working at like noon, that you'd be like super happy about that. And that's like a thing. There's like a whole study on it where it's like our circadian rhythms are honestly just different. Like our brains are like best active between like 10 a.m. and like I think it was like 11 p.m. or something like that, or 8 p.m. or something is like our most active times, from 10 to 11 or 10 to 8 or 10 to 11 or something like that. I need to find the study. But anyway, our circadian rhythms are different. So it's like you have to work against your own biology in that way. So like their little brains want to be awake. Like they're just wired to be awake at that time. But the world around us doesn't set up for that, right? Like they have to be at school really early. So they literally won't go to bed. Like they literally won't. So I have to give them the melatonin every night to get them to go to sleep. And I'd rather give them melatonin than have him be on like clonidine or something like a lot of kids have to be to go to sleep. Like that's no shade to whatever person needs to be on that kind of medication or any other kind of sleep medication to go to sleep. No shade whatsoever. But I would prefer as a parent to give my kid melatonin, and if it works, right, then have them on another medication or another stronger medication to sleep.
Yeah, because
So
it's like as you know, and I've mentioned before, like for me, medication just takes a lot more to affect
yeah,
me.
yeah.
So
Well, that's what I was
the
thinking
whole
with the melatonin, because like my kids take a 5 milligram gummy every night. So like I buy, because you can buy them two different ways. You can buy one that says 5 milligram on it, right? But that is not 5 milligrams per gummy. It's 5 milligrams for every two. So they're 2.5 gummies. And you take two of them to get to your 5 milligrams.
yeah,
So
I
if
think
you
mine
buy
are
the
10.
extra strength, it'll say 10 milligrams on it because the dose is two. So if you take one, that's 5 milligrams. That's what my kids take. I have to take 10 if I take it. I don't have a problem sleeping because I'm on so much fucking allergy medication that I'm out, right? So I don't have that issue. But the kids can't deal. So they take a 5 milligram every night to go to bed. And I give it to them about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they're usually knocked out by 9:30. So it does take about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So for you, it's either take it like 3 hours ahead of time at 5 milligrams or take 10.
I do. I think mine are 10. Thing is that like it doesn't really make me tired. It just makes me have like brain fog.
Yeah.
Like, and
And
a
it
lot
might
of
not
times,
work for you. I mean, there are some people that take like 15 or 20 milligrams of that shit to go to sleep. So like but you're like incredibly fucking difficult to medicate. So it may not work for you. And it doesn't work for everybody. It's just like anything else. But like my kids literally could not sleep without it. They would they would eventually. But see, that's the tricky part. Like, yes, they're eventually going to fucking fall asleep. But they have to wake up at 6:30 every morning. So I can't have them passing out at fucking midnight and waking up at 6:30 and then going to school all fucking day and then doing it all over again. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, like
anyway.
what I was trying to say is that like it's hard for me to fall asleep because it's like my brain won't shut down. So I can
Yes.
be immensely tired. It's just my brain just will not stop. And I talked about this before, like how I get like a second wind. Like if I'm not asleep by like 9 p.m., by like 10, I'm good for another like 5 hours.
That's my
And
kids.
that's how my mom is too. Like
Yeah.
I joke that my mom made me a night person because like once a week she would take me to the office, like when I was like in kindergarten or something. She'd take me to the office like Friday nights and to the office that she worked at the time, set me up a little TV with the little show my age here. So a little TV with a little VCR built in to the TV, to the 10-inch, 13-inch TV. And I would just watch movies and then basically we would know it was time to go home when we started hearing the birds outside.
Yeah.
So my mom made me a night person starting at 5 fucking years old. And so
Yeah.
I joke about that. So like when I go visit my mom, we stay up till like 3 a.m. because that's
Yeah.
just how we are. And like I've said before, we would if we were in the hunter gathering time, we would be the night watch. We would be
Yes,
the third shift of the night watch.
for sure. But
Mhm.
that's what I mean. Like my kids are the same. So like their second wind hits them about, especially Noah, about 9:30, right? So if they're not sleeping by 9:30, Noah will be up till fucking 3 a.m. watching
Mhm.
TV. Like he literally cannot turn like he will be dead dog tired, like you said, and still not be able to go to sleep because his brain will not fucking turn off. So he will lay there and watch TV for fucking hours. And there are some nights, even with melatonin, he still does that. So like it just depends on like what's going on for him. So
Yeah, usually if I really need to go to sleep, I'll take like a Dramamine, like one of the drowsy Dramamines. I'll take because I
mm-hmm.
don't want to take like straight up sleep medicine because then I just feel groggy in the morning. Or I'll take
Yes.
like an allergy pill. Like I'll take like like half of what the normal dose is supposed to be of either of those. That way, just enough to get me to fall asleep.
Yeah. To turn your brain off. Yeah.
Right.
That's what it does for them. It just turns their brain off enough for him to knock out. So But anyway, that's enough on sleep. So,
Okay.
and then like the other part of that one was like other mental health conditions and things like that.
Anxiety, depression, which makes sense.
Which I mean, I have to. Yeah, I have to have it. So it's all good. Moving on.
Okay. Myth: all autistic people have special skills like Rain Man, which is weird because like a weird story because I literally thought about this movie the other day. Like someone said something that just reminded me of Dustin Hoffman's character in Rain Man,
Yeah.
and I was like, and I was thinking, I'm like, how is it possible that people can like I remember one scene in the movie. I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but one scene in the movie, like someone drops, I don't know if it's straws or what, but they drop a bunch of stuff on the floor at the restaurant. He immediately knows how many are there. And I'm like,
yeah,
how is that possible? But okay. And it said this isn't true either. A small percentage of autistic people are savants, which means they have mathematical skills beyond compare, or can produce incredible artwork. However, most are regular folk. You can argue that experiencing the world in a different way, if embraced and understood, can bring something brilliant to every aspect of life. In which case, then yes, this is a special skill. So I always like not joked, but I always want to be like, man, I really wish I was like a savant. Like, why can't I be one of those cool, like, autistic people that's like just a brilliant physicist or something that immediately could do astrophysics at the age of 7 or
like Sheldon.
Can do calculus, by kindergarten. It's like,
Or
man, why
Doogie
can't I be
Howser,
like,
MD.
or even people that like just immediately look at a piano, immediately know how to play like Beethoven or Mozart or
Right.
whatever. It's like, why can I be one of those people? It's not fair.
Yeah, or just like can look at something and then remember exactly what it looks like in their brain and then draw it with like no practice and just completely, it's crazy.
Like that one guy who he just took one, like, I don't know if it's true or not. I remember seeing a little article about it. He just took a flight, like a helicopter ride around New York City and like drew in immense detail, like just one helicopter flight, and then drew immense detail the entire like skyline and Isle of Manhattan.
Dang.
Like, what? Damn.
That's
like,
crazy.
I'm not cool like that.
No. I mean, we could like they're saying, like we could argue that we have special skills, and I think sometimes we do. Like I feel like I'm like I don't know. I feel like I have that kind of thing where it's like if I really want to be good at something, like I will damn near kill myself to learn it, right? So like that determination could be called like a special skill, like that hyper focus could be considered a special skill, but like also it's not at the same time because like I can sit there and fucking lose 13 hours of my life because I hyper focus too hard. So I don't know, but like
I literally said that to my coworker / boss earlier. I was telling her that my back hurts for some reason, but I was like, but I know why. It's because I have a blanket at work that I put because my office is freezing. Well, I had gotten up, so I had it balled up in my chair, and then I sat down on it, got focused on something, literally did not move. Like I was working on something for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was like, when I got done, I'm like, man, I'm really thirsty and really have to pee. And then it's like, but I'm sitting on like this balled up like blanket, and that's why my back hurt because I was sitting in a one position for like 3 hours, focusing on something and didn't move, didn't do anything. I was so stiff. But so that's my special skill. Time loss.
Time loss because from intense focus. Oh Lord. Okay. Well, we're not special. It's fine.
No, not that special. Not that kind of special. Not the fun kind of special.
Oh, here's the boomer one. You all ready for the boomer one?
Go ahead.
Autism wasn't around when I was in school. Ooh, that was a big bad. Did you hear my stomach? That was really loud.
No.
It went brrr. Very loud. That was a very loud bubble. We're almost done, stomach. Hang in there. Okay. Obviously not true. I mean, I've seen that like meme going around where it's like, that wasn't around back in my day. Yeah, okay, Uncle so-and-so with your fucking $35,000 worth of antique electric trains in your basement, meticulously fucking placed all over in the most beautiful, intricate fucking way possible. Or my grandfather, who has every tool known to man and without even thinking twice could tell you exactly where he put it and exactly where it's supposed to go, and everything is meticulously fucking in every drawer, organized gorgeously, and God forbid you put it in the wrong spot and he loses his goddamn mind. Like, okay, none of you were ever a little bit tistic. Nobody.
No.
Nikola Tesla wasn't a little bit tistic.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody goes that hard on one thing without having just a tiny little touch of the tism, okay? Just a tiny little touch of the tism. Awkward pause.
It's basically it's like we never had all this. It's like, no, it's like the whole we did, like they just were there, this like this whole gay people thing is a phase. It's like, no, they were just pretty good at hiding it.
Yeah,
like
they just didn't want to die.
And especially like, okay, like in the 18, like not talking about like gay people anymore, but like in the 1800s, like just if an autistic person had a meltdown, well, I guess they need an exorcism, don't they, or put them in an asylum.
Yeah, like, it was demons. Mm-hmm, it was ifrits.
Mm-hmm.
Full circle. We've come full circle. Yeah, no, and back in the 1800s, you either got burnt at the stake because you were a witch, you got tortured because you were hysterical, or they threw you or they threw you in a fucking sanitarium because you were, you know, mentally, we'll use the MR word, the mentally retarded, right? Like, mm-hmm. They would throw you in sanitariums and shit, and insane asylums and shit. You couldn't even like have a bad day back then, or you'd get your ass carted off to the fucking psych.
If a woman wanted to read, a woman, I think one of them was like novel reading for like by women, literally one reason to get committed.
Yeah, like not even just women though, but like literally anybody. Like, you just weren't an autistic or whatever, like it didn't matter. You even sort of didn't cooperate with society, and you were either possessed or you were carted off. And it's like, that's, and then even after, like, even in more recent times, people weren't looking for that really, and you were just the weird guy, or you were just the crazy lady, or the one that, or the particular lady, or whatever, right? Like, they just come up with some other thing to call you, and you were just either shunned by society, or people just sort of dealt with you however they felt like dealing with you. So it's like, it wasn't really looked for, and it wasn't really defined. But I promise you, there's been plenty of autism throughout all of human existence. So, moving on.
Yes. Myth. All autistic people are the same. False. No two autistic individuals share the exact same characteristics, just like no two non-autistic individuals are the exact same. It's like autistic people are not all savants and are not machines devoid of emotions. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. It's like saying, like, you know, all people with depression are the same, all people with anxiety are the same. It's like that makes no sense. It's like all cancer is the same, all whatever is the same. Right. It's like, no, that's, to me, that's weird. It's like, people who think that way, it's like, man, you must live in like a very black and white world. Like, yeah. You think like everyone with this sort of thing is the same, or anyone that all gay people are the same, all, you know, all Muslims are the same, any group of people are the same. It's like, no, right. That's not how that works.
Well, I mean, we talked about it last week. Like, my 2 children who I gave birth to, one of their diagnosis didn't even didn't even register in my brain that that's what was happening, because they didn't present the same. So like, I even had to break this down in my brain. It's like, not that I was actively assuming that all autistic people are the same, but like, because they presented so much differently, I wasn't even really looking for autism, more so ADHD than anything. I thought, well, maybe, but like ADHD was like the most prominent thing, just simply because of how they presented. So we've already kind of talked about this one. It's like, obviously fucking not. Obviously everyone's different because everyone's fucking different, neurotypical or not, right? Like everyone's just different anyway. So, and then I'll read the last one. We have come to the end, folks. The last one we have here is autistic people can't work as part of a team. So, obviously, oh, we've made it all the way to the end before I yawned. Holy shit. We're doing good, man. I made it pretty far in last week, too. Holy shit. Wow, that's great. Maybe I need to be sick when I record more often. Anyway.
Or maybe because we started at like 7, not 9.
Oh, good call. It is 8 o'clock. And we usually are starting around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So that would make sense. We just need to start earlier. That's what it is. Anyway, reading a myth now. Many autistic people enjoy working as part of a team. Autistic people have a different communication style to many others, which can lead to misunderstandings. Yeah. Some autistic people can find it challenging to interpret other people's behaviors and find it harder to read between the lines. Many autistic people are usually very honest and forthright, and what they say is what they mean. A lot of miscommunication and confusion can be easily prevented. How? Set clear objectives in the team. Have team working processes where everybody can have their turn to be listened to without the need to push hard to be heard. Communication between autistic and non-autistic people works best when people are direct and clear and don't rely on the interpretation of facial expressions and body language. Just like any team that works well together, clear communication is key. That is true of autistic and non-autistic people at work. God damn. Okay, well, my yawns and the time tell me we're there. That was our last myth. Obviously, we can work as part of a team. I do find that communication is difficult at times, but that's where, unfortunately, it does sort of fall on the autistic person to understand as much about themselves as they possibly can, so that then you can communicate that to the best of your ability to people around you about, kind of how you do things and the way you are, and explain as best as you can. Like, when I'm talking, I might not look at you, or I might not whatever, but just please understand that I am listening, or whatever you got to do, right? Just being clear with how you operate, I hit my mic, will generally, in my experience, for the people who want to understand you and want to listen, it will improve your relationship greatly. If you can understand as much as possible about how you operate and who you are as a person, just in general, period, but especially about how your autism can affect your communication, if you can explain that to someone who's willing to listen, generally that will improve your communication, and they will take that to heart, and they will do their best to understand you as much as possible, and at the minimum, at least ask you for clarification. That's the best you can hope for. Amanda, thoughts?
Yeah, it's like, I prefer to do a lot of stuff alone, just depending on what it is, but I can't work as part of a team. My thing, though,
We're
at
a
least
team.
in school, yeah, at least my thing in school, like back in the day, doing group projects, like I ended up doing most of the work in terms of like group projects, not necessarily because like I wanted to, or because people didn't want to do it. It was more of the fact, it's like, I was talking to this with my same boss / coworker. It's hard for me, not necessarily not like to depend on people, because I feel like I can, but it's also like, if I don't do it, I feel like it won't get done, sort of thing. It's hard to explain, because it's like, I hate when people have to wait for me. Like, I hate feeling like I'm holding people up.
Same.
So when other people aren't on the same timeline as me, like when they're not as bothered to get stuff done or anything, that really, I'm just like, are you done? Do you have your part yet? I'm like, I hate having to wait for people, because I hate the feeling of people having to wait for me.
Yeah.
And so having to rely on other people to get their part of something done gives me anxiety, because it's like, and then I'll be like, I'll just let me do it. I'll just do it. I don't want to rely on you to do it. It's like
Yeah.
I'll just take over. So it's not necessarily like I can't work as part of a team. It's just hard when if like me and the person don't gel well enough to where, like you said, like the whole communication thing. So trying to tell someone in a tactful way, like, I need you to hurry the fuck up.
Right.
Like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna combust. Like, if you don't
Yeah.
get this done, or if you don't, like, at least tell me where you are on this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go insane.
Right.
So it's like I said, it's not that I don't necessarily not enjoy or, enjoy working as part of a team. I can. It's just if I have to. I just prefer to do stuff alone because it's just easier for me because I know it'll get done at that point.
Yeah.
So
I feel that too. And I do tend to kind of lead, like just kind of take the lead on things if I'm not taking over and doing it myself completely, because I trust my own ability to get the thing done. Kind of like you were saying, like, especially if it has a deadline. I have an issue with delegation. I am working on it because I'm in management now and I have to. So, like, I have to learn to delegate, and it is difficult. It's something I just struggle with because I tend to just know what I want done. And sometimes it's difficult for me to verbalize what I want done. Yeah. And so it's like, I know what I want done. And if I have to tell you what I want done, it's not going to sound like it sounds in my head. And then I might say it out loud and change my mind. And I need time to kind of figure out how I want to do things. And if I have to give someone direction immediately, it's like I might change my mind and then I look like I don't know what I'm talking about or don't know what I'm doing. And then that leads to confusion, which is understandable. But I don't know. That's just where I struggle. So it's things I'm learning about myself after becoming a manager,
Yeah, and one of the things on here, it's like the whole, like, autistic people are bad at reading body language thing, like this whole line about some autistic people, I know it says some, but like some autistic people can find it challenging to interpret other people's behaviors and find it hard to read between the lines. And I've talked about this before. It's like, no, I can read between the lines. I'm good at reading body language. I just don't always know, like, my brain, like, where was I the other day? I was like an older guy that I was talking to. Where was I? I was when I was at the airport. I was asking a guy that, like, I was asking where, like, the rental car counter was. And he just goes, "Oh, we don't have that anymore." And I knew he was joking, but it was the whole, like, frozen thing. Like, like, how do I respond to that? And he probably assumed I thought he was serious, and I knew he wasn't. But, like, I didn't know how to, like, quip back at him.
Yeah.
Like, in the joke. He's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." And I'm thinking, yeah, I know. I just couldn't think fast enough. So the whole, like,
I didn't process your joke fast enough for me to have a comeback.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like the whole, like real world example of, like, me and Scott. Like, I can very much tell when Scott is getting bored or basically just wants me to leave. I can tell, and I doubt he's listening to this, but I can very much tell when he wants people to get the fuck out of his house.
Yeah.
But it's like, also, it's like half of me, it's like, I need you to outright say that you're done, because, but it's also, it's like, I don't know how to, it's like my brain knows that, okay, they said this evening's done, he wants everyone to go home, or so, like, the person I'm talking to is bored with the conversation, but it's like my mouth just keeps going. Like, it doesn't listen. So yeah, I can read between the lines. It's just the rest of me can't keep up.
Yes, I feel that.
Like, I can tell you're done right now.
I had a thought and it left me. No, I had a thought and it left me. And my candle's distracting me. Because it's melting really cool and it's distracting me. So, yeah. I'm going to stop looking at it now.
Yeah.
My belly's grumbling. Yeah, I think we are done. I think we're at that space where it's time to say goodbye.
So
next
long,
time.
farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen, good night. Yes. I think it's time to be done. We don't know what next week is going to be. We'll figure it out. You'll know when we know. But I think that concludes our myth section. I'm sure there are many more myths. If any of you think of any.
Yeah, this was just a collection of them.
Yeah, it's just a little bit. Are there any myths that you guys have heard, or things that, misconceptions that you have, that have been presented to you, or things like that? You can tell us either by jumping in our Discord. We would love to have you there, and chatting about it there, or you can let us know on our Facebook page. You can pop by our Instagram, all of those, or even on X/Twitter. All of those things are just at the NDC podcast, at THENDC podcast. Everywhere socials are platformed. And smash that like button. Ring that bell icon so you never miss up an upload from us. Rate and review anywhere that you're listening that allows that. They are probably the most important thing that you can do to support us. Honestly, swear to God. That is the most important thing, especially on Apple Podcasts. If you're now listening there, since we're there now, we figured it out.
We figured it out. Mm-hmm.
We figured it out now. Fucking 32 episodes in. Anyway, please, for the love of fuck, if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating and a review. That is what tells Apple to push our show out to everybody who listens to shit like this, because the goal is to grow the show, right? And we can't do that if we don't have folks talking about the show and sharing the show and rating the show and reviewing the show and all of those things. If you want to support us because you like us and don't want to spend money on us, that's fine. I wouldn't want to either, but you can, for free, support the show by rating and reviewing wherever you're listening. Also on YouTube, comments. Someone said this on a YouTube channel that I listened to and I really liked it, so I'm stealing it. Your comments are a sacrifice to the algorithm gods. So if you comment on YouTube, that helps push our shit out too. So support us for free by doing that. And if you do, we'll read it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
We shall read it. And thank you personally for your sacrifice to the algorithmic gods on all platforms, not just YouTube. Mm-hmm. Anyway, did I forget anything? Oh, our email. If you want to tell us we suck, or just say hi in a different way, long form, you may email us at the ndcpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
Yeah. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Bonus points if you know what that's from. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Bye-bye.
Anyway, I love you.
I love you.
And we love you.
Oh. We love you.
Ready? We're going to do we need to do a thumbnail. Did you see the video? Mm-hmm. Did you see it? Did you see what I did to it?
No.
You need to go to YouTube and look at the video.
Oh, with their faces?
I did a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ready? We're going to do a thumbnail for the people. Are you ready? 1, 2.
Okay.
Okay, we got it. Oh no, it should be 3. That's 4. We're done. Okay, it should be 3.
Here, 3.
Because it's part 3. So, fuck off. Okay, all right, we're done. I'm done. Whatever happens, happens at this point. I love you. Fucking goodbye. We will see you next week. God damn it, my mouse died. I need to find the stop button. Why is this always my thought?